This fan-made Pac-Man game is the most accurate recreation of the mechanics of the original arcade classic. It also adds some awesome features and extra modes which give longevity to the simple Pac-Man gameplay, as well as let you learn the ghost movement patterns and practice avoiding them. The game is simply called Remake of Pac-Man, and it's made by Shaun Williams. Here is the About page, so give some love to the creator and the people that helped make it such an accurate remake. I'll give the link to the GitHub page in the description below. The game is completely free to play. Click the link on the top right side of the page to play, and you can play the whole game in your internet browser, which just makes the game so easy to pick up and play. You can also play on a mobile browser, and it has touchscreen controls. The remake has 3 games you can play. On the site, it says there's a 4th Crazy Auto game mode, but I don't know if they removed that or what because it's not in the current version. If you want to know more about Crazy Auto, you can check the link in the description below where I look at more Pac-Man clones, and that is one of them. You can play the original Pac-Man arcade game from 1980. Here you can see the side-by-side comparison and see how accurate it is. The second game you can play is the Miss Pac-Man version from 1981. And again, here's a comparison so you can see how similar they play and look. And finally, there is a totally new version for this remake called Cookie Man, which uses the Miss Pac-Man gameplay but replaces Miss Pac-Man with Cookie Monster. It turns the ghosts into cookies to eat, and also has a procedural map generator. Here are what those maps look like, and they're changed every 2 levels, just like in the Miss Pac-Man game. It's a really fun new way to play new and interesting maps. I'll first start by talking about the coolest feature of the Pac-Man remake, the Learn mode. This is the mode that allows you to easily see the ghosts' attack patterns so you can predict their behavior. The creators accurately ported over the ghost movement from the original Pac-Man. In the original Pac-Man, the 4 ghosts each have a unique way of converging on the player. This is important because it allows the ghosts to attack from different pathways. If all the ghosts just chased the player the same way, it would be boring because the ghosts would all stack on top of each other and you could just keep running away from them, and they would never trap you in a corner. The first ghost pattern is simple and what you would think the normal attack would be. This is just that it follows the player. And just for your information, the colors in this Learn section do not matter in the real game. So the ghost is red for this pattern here in the Learn mode, but this pattern could be any one of the 4 colors at random, and all the ghosts will have one of the 4 unique patterns so that they're all different. So when you play for real, you'll need to take a second to figure out which color ghost is using which pattern. The creator calls the colored squares ghost bait. This is what the ghost is going to chase after. The second ghost pattern to visualize and practice is this one where the ghost bait is just ahead of Pac-Man. It kind of allows the ghost to cut you off as you move. The third ghost pattern is a more complicated as it uses the first ghost and draws a line through a point just ahead of Pac-Man, and the ghost bait is placed at the end of that line. The fourth ghost pattern is simple and the easiest to dodge, as the ghost will move towards the player as long as the ghost is outside the radius around the player. And once it enters this circle, it will move out of the circle again, and it keeps moving back in and out of the circle. Each of these help you learn how to move to avoid the ghosts, and once you are done, you can put it to the test in the real game. Just remember you need to figure out which color ghost will be using which pattern. There is a setting in this game to turn on the visualization of the targets and pathways. Here's how to turn it on in this remake. This is such a cool feature that helps you practice your skills for the original Pac-Man games. To help you get even better at Pac-Man, there's a practice mode which allows you to become invincible, slow down time, or even rewind time. The creator said he was inspired to create the rewind from the game Braid, and even watched a GDC talk from Braid's creator, Jonathan Blow, to determine how to implement it into this game. There is another game mode called Turbo Mode, which I did not know this before, but it works the same way as a hardware modification to the original Pac-Man arcade cabinets, that when turned on, Pac-Man moves twice as fast and is not slowed down when eating pellets. This mode is fun, as the levels are faster and easier to complete. Just to add to all the cool features in this Pac-Man remake, it also keeps track of all your high scores for each game and saves it to your computer in your browser. This remake is a faithful recreation of the original games, and is also the best way to learn the ghost patterns and ways to avoid them. The creator stated that the whole goal of this project was to be as accurate to the arcade games as possible, and they said that the movement physics, ghost behavior, character speeds, timers, and update rates match the original games, along with, of course, copying the sprites and graphics. They said the biggest inaccuracy from the original Pac-Man and Miss Pac-Man in this remake is that the collision detection is tighter than the originals. This is because it is checked twice as often. This was implemented into this remake for a good reason, though, because it prevented a bug where Pac-Man would pass through ghosts in rare circumstances. If you are a Pac-Man fan, you will absolutely love this game. Even if you're not, you should definitely give it a try. It adds some cool modes to the original Pac-Man gameplay. Give it a try and practice your skills for the original games. Also give some love for all the hard work the creators did to make this fan-made remake. Thanks so much for watching. I appreciate you.